And so our, our goals and our focus for you guys, we want to make sure that you go out like feeling confident. Like now, oh my gosh, with the learning portal you guys have, like I'm so jealous. Like there's just so many tools where you're like, man, I need to get better with this. You can just go in there and it's like, it's done so well. Like they really did such a great job. We've always had Vector Connect. We've always had old talks to listen to. Maybe you go in there, whatever, but like you don't know which one, you don't know what's the best thing. And so like even the fact that if you're having trouble in an area and you're like, Kathy, I really need help with this, or no, which I can just go into my side of the portal and assign this video to you, Jackie, and be like, hey, watch this video. It's going to help you a lot with that. And I can assign you things that'll help you specifically with what you need, right? And so what we did do is that we did put together a 14-week curriculum that starts today. The first assignment is due on Monday. And so for the spring, we shift a little bit, right? In the fall, we kind of hold your guys' hand a little bit more. We're meeting together, we're going through stuff. And now like you're opening a business. You need to take this serious. So in your schedule every week, when do you have an hour carved out? Not this hour, but an hour to sit and do your course. Cool. Your courses will take 45 minutes to an hour, right? To do it. And so sit down and take notes. You guys should have a notebook. Well, in today's world, have a computer, have a folder where you have all your notes, like from each like talk, right? So you can always go back and check those out. I'm a paper writer, so I like notebooks. And like my husband last year got me a Remarkable, which is like a digital notebook, I guess. Just because I like writing, like I don't like typing, I like writing. So whatever your style is, it doesn't matter, but take notes, stuff that you guys can look at easily, right? Like label it, like keys to PPR, keys to this or whatever, that if you're like, man, I'm struggling with this, you can go back and refresh yourself. You're like, oh, I'm not doing that. Or, like it's just easy to be able to go back versus having to watch the whole course again, because like you got the gist of it, but you might've been missing this or this, right? So I want to encourage you guys to one, have a place you're going to keep all your notes. Cool, easy to find. And so whatever that is, whatever folder, Google Drive, however you organize yourself, get organized. Cool. So that anything that we talk about through the spring and even stuff in the past, you guys are putting them in there. When you guys are in staff meetings, you should be taking notes and putting them in there and label it. Like if we talk about a certain topic, specifically how to get better this or how to improve this, that you're like, oh, okay. Writing down some keys to this or productivity, like that you have those things and you can keep adding to it. Maybe you just create a file that's called like keys to productivity and you just keep adding notes, like different aspects of like, here's the training stuff, or maybe there's just a document just for in training, right? Pre and during training, and there's for post training, and then there's post fast start, right? And just helping people get really good at the job. But I want to make sure you guys aren't just watching it to like, oh, I did my assignment and then coming, but that you're actually learning and that you're keeping this information so that you can go back and review it when you need it, because you will need to, because a lot's coming at you and then you're like, oh, like, and you're not seeing certain results, and you can go back and see what impacts that. Cool. So Everett, oh wait, he just replied to me. Yes. It's confirmed. The assignment thing is not, okay, he's finishing up a meeting with Vector East DVMs. And then it'll be active by tonight in terms of the first assignment that'll be due. So they'll be due by every Monday night. You can do it anytime, by the way. It's accessible. You can get ahead on assignments. So it's not like, oh, it opens on Friday and closes on Monday, like some tests or assignments are for school. This is available. All of 14 of them will be available like by late tonight. We're going to talk about them each week. We're going to recap each week, the first 15, 20 minutes when we get together of just takeaways. Okay. So next Tuesday, when we come together, I want to make sure you guys have your notes in front of you from the first assignment and you're ready to give me your biggest takeaways. Cool. I'll add to it and give some tips, and, or if you guys have any questions about stuff, you guys can ask me. Cool. So I have this time set aside to be a resource for you guys as we're preparing to get ready to open up this summer. All right. So, so there's the regular flow. Now there's going to be extra credit, extra bonuses, like just videos that I'm like, hey, this is a really good one to listen to, or really recommend this. And you can listen to it whenever you want, but it's just stuff that's going to help you guys like be stronger, more confident, really show up this summer ready to go. I was just telling Morgan this before you guys got here, and I want to make sure you guys all know and understand that you're doing something hard, I talk to business owners all the time. I have a business summit next weekend. I'm actually running down in Galveston. And, it's kind of a joke, but it's not, that, when I chat with people and I'm like, you're like when you're, cause they're like, oh my God, like I thought it was going to be easier. Like people open a business cause they're like, I don't want to work for somebody else. I want to work on my own. And they don't realize how much goes into it, like when you're growing, when you're building that business. And so a lot of entrepreneurs, that's why most businesses fail within the first 5 years, like it's like there's different stats for year 1, year 3, year 5, but it's hard. And not everyone's mentally prepared for that, because when they go out to open an office, they go to start their business, they're thinking about adult business. And I was telling this to the parents, and the parents breakout at year banquet. And I said, you're thinking about like the business owners who are traveling the world, playing golf, like doing all the nice things, right? And like that's an adult state, like that owner like has built it, right? Like Jeff Bezos, one of the wealthiest, or is he the wealthiest, or one of the wealthiest guys in the world, right? Like Amazon guy, one of the top wealthiest people, right? Y'all, he has people that work for him, and people that work for the people that work for him, and people that work for them, and like all the layers, right? That's not how it started. All right. He was everything. And so you got to remember, like, to have like realistic things, like when people say, oh, I want to have a baby. Yes, kids are awesome and great and whatever, but there's seasons when they're brand new, it's not so great. Okay. Like any newborn mom, and me in July, once again, and the last time, thank you, Jesus, that I'm going to go through this. All right. You literally do not sleep for at least a month, if not 2 or 3. You just don't like get a normal night's sleep. Why? You have to feed the baby like every 1.5 to 3 hours. Like, so you're just 24/7 around the clock. You just don't freaking sleep. It's exhausting. Thank your parents for taking care of you. You can't just put them down and not see them for 8 hours. That doesn't happen until, maybe they're 6 months or a year. My 1-year-old still doesn't sleep through the night. He wakes up at least twice in the night. And so it's a process, and it's freaking exhausting. But then, they get a little older, like Benjamin, like he's super fun now, and he does sleep through the night. And like, I love doing cool stuff. Spencer took him to do putt-putt on Sunday, and they went, like, and it's like really like just so much more enjoyable than, my screaming 1-year-old. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this will pass. He will speak soon. He will walk. I'm like, he will sleep. This season will pass. And in a business, you have those different stages of a business. You have that infant stage, which is you do everything for it, and it's exhausting. That is Branch, by the way. Branch is a startup. So the startup process, which is typically the first 3 years, 2 to 3 years in a business, and are pretty exhausting. What's cool with Cutco is that for us, like you can get past that first phase a lot quicker. Typically within 8 months to a year, you can be seeing yourself get into a toddler stage. But I always say, like, to get it to a place where it's like doing its thing, running itself, like it takes 2 to 3 years, where most businesses is going to take longer than that. Okay. And so I'm sharing this because I want to make sure you have proper expectations, knowing that it's not easy, but it's freaking worth it. It's very worth it. And what it sets you up, for the future, in your original, in your life, is amazing what happens. Okay. And when Jeff Bezos started, it didn't look like this. All right. It's going to look like your branch offices, by the way. This is Bezos when he started. He was customer service. He was fulfillment and marketing. He was everything. Like literally, I see this and I always laugh. I'm like, it's literally a branch office. And so, like those of you guys who went to Jocelyn's office before I redecorated it. Okay. Like, it's just, you're like, startup business. But that's not the way it's going to be forever, and the quicker that you guys start promoting people to assistant manager, which we're going to walk through what that flow looks like, the sooner that you guys are having key staff meetings and leaders and working with your people, the sooner that you can split your team into teams and have team captains and help your top people work with their teams. Like that's when it gets really fun. I remember Jessica Perez, when she opened her first branch years ago, I think it was 2009. She actually moved to Puerto Rico from Florida to help us run a branch in Puerto Rico, which was one of the top in the country. She won 2 silver cups over there. One as a branch, one as a district manager. And you know, I remember her calling me in May, end of May, like freaking out. And she's like, there's so many people. I'm like, that's a really good problem. And she's like, I can't handle it. Like, she's like, how do I talk to her? How do I do PDI? I have interviews of like 20, 30 people coming in, and this is all in person. And she was like by herself, you know, or like she had a friend that went with her as her assistant manager. And I was just like, the answer is you're not going to do it all yourself. You can't. I'm like, you can only do so much yourself. And yes, you try to do as much as you can, but the goal is how quickly can you duplicate yourself, right? How quickly can you have people that you're coaching, that you're teaching, people who are excited about growth, you know, people who are excited about learning these skills, because the stuff you guys learn here serves you for a lifetime. And the sooner that, you know, other people get a chance to experience it, I think that's a blessing for them and it's a blessing for you. It's a win-win on both ends. You're giving them a chance to develop skill sets they might not have gotten otherwise. And you're getting the opportunity to also have great support as you're coaching others. You know, it's a lot more fun for Claudia to run the business with, you know, Morgan and Johnny and Riley than it is by herself. All right. Yeah, we got some hiccups as you guys learn, but overall, like she loves teaching. She loves coaching, right? If she was just by herself with no assistant, it wouldn't be as fun, you know, and I know that for myself as well. So anyway, just know that as we're preparing right now, what's important? We want to get you guys staffs. Can you open, you know, with 3 people by your side? That's the goal for every branch is like, can you open with 3 or more? You know, like her first office, Jessica only opened with 1 and she had some help, but it was tough and she kept going. But the next year when she ran her branch again, she now had 5 of her guys went out and ran their own offices, just like Maddie and Gavin and David from Brooke's office. 5 of her guys opened their own offices, but she also had 3 of her guys that came back to be her assistant managers. And so she went out, staff, that's the year they won the Silver Cup. All right. And so the work you're doing now, and so what we're going to do today is we're going to review David Roy's message, because I think it's the most important and most impactful thing right now for each and every one of you as we prepare for summer is all the stuff that he was talking about with social media, things that we can be doing, group me's and stuff. And guys, you want to get your people in now, get them in the office, get them trained, get them on your mini team, start developing them. We're going to have an AM 6-week series that starts next Tuesday. And then we'll have another 6-week series of the same content that will be at 3 o'clock every Tuesday before this call. And I actually recommend for you guys to actually attend the first series, just so that you're on the same page with what AM should be hearing. Cool. I'm going to record them all and you're not required, but I do encourage, if you're available at 3, to jump on to those calls that I'm going to start next week. It'll just be for 6 weeks. Cool. So that you have that info. Let's rock and roll. So I wanted to review this. I know most of you were here for this. Some of you guys missed this though. So this is super important. And this was David Roy's message at the kickoff. Okay. And y'all, this is the #1 most important thing in your life right now in terms of getting ready for your office. Cool. Is getting this going. So each of you have a general. I am meeting with Brian to finalize our territories in the next 2 weeks. I'm still missing a couple letters of intent and I can't finalize territories until I know what's happening, and I'll be reaching out to the couple people where I don't have that yet, because I'm not going to carve out a territory and someone else could have it if they're not fully committed. Okay. So we will get that figured out. So, you know, obviously he talked about, you know, where things are like, nearly half of companies plan to eliminate bachelor's degree requirements in 2024. So this was always like old school thinking of like, here's the way you progress. You go to school, you get a degree, you get a good job. That doesn't matter anymore. What are they looking for? Is that they're really looking for people that have experience. And so people are valuing, you know, it says survey found that 4 in 5 employers value experience over education, right? And if you guys look to the right, the Forbes magazine, the Forbes article, this just came out this past fall, by the way, and it was just talking about, you know, just obviously AI is doing so much, but, you know, it said individuals with curiosity and those with recognizable team engagement skills will remain in high demand. You know, finding leaders and individuals with strong soft skills is a greater challenge that AI cannot accomplish. Everyone got that? So the shit you're learning here and the stuff that you're going to get to teach all of your kids is stuff that they will use and is actually going to set them apart, because AI is going to take a lot of the normal day-to-day jobs. And if you guys look at the article, it says as AI evolve, skills that become more important will include critical thinking, logical intelligence, interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence, structured planning and organization. These are all things that you guys have been slowly developing and will put into hyper growth as you go through this summer as well, you know? And it says skills that will be less and less in demand as AI becomes more ingrained in daily work activities will be repetitive tasks, analysis, interpretation, and even content creation, all right? So just knowing that what you guys are doing is making an impact. And this is Andres. This was one of our top reps. He's in Katy. And just looking at like his resume, right? Like from being a top manager, being a top assistant manager, being a branch manager, like here's a 5-star recruit. And just showing all the things that he learned and what he did. He actually ran his office over in Beaumont, Texas, and did a phenomenal job. You know, was a top assistant here in Houston. When I first moved here, he branched in 2015 when I moved here, and was a top assistant prior and even afterwards for a bit, but just so many great skills. And so do your people know about that, you know, and do you guys really understand what people are looking for? And why is this important? Because as you guys are recruiting your friends, assistant managers, like why you should work with me versus McDonald's or whatever, it's like the stuff you're learning for, the critical thinking and problem solving, the leadership skills, the marketing, the time management, the teamwork and collaboration, the sales, the communication, initiative drive, like that is what's going to be needed in our world more and more as AI takes over so many simple jobs and content creation and like writing and journalists, like they can do a lot of that stuff, but having those skill sets of being able to work belly to belly with people, being able to plan stuff, having a bigger vision and ideas as to what needs to happen. And then it's like the vision part, which is what CEOs do, like those are the skills needed. And that's what you guys are going to be learning here. And then they're like, okay, we need to create social media posts. We need to do like AI can do that. Like that's not even something you want to get a degree in anymore because it's not needed. But you just need someone that has the bigger picture ideas, and then a lot of the stuff is going to get created, you know, by that. And so as you guys are getting ready for summer, you know, you guys made top list something to review and say, okay, who are the top 10 people that I really want to go after? And then 23, like, how can you keep building that list? People that you meet at school in your guys' classes, people that you're interacting with on social media, you know, friends, family members. And a big thing that I was going to tell you guys, and this is something that I have to write the post for your mom, Riley. I know she's going to post it, but I'm going to share it with all of you guys, is actually having your parents post, especially if they're active on social. So Riley's mom, I see her on Facebook all the time, right? Like we're Facebook friends. And so I see her posting all the time because she has a travel business and stuff. So she like has to use social media. And so I'm going to create a post for her to put of just saying like, hey, my daughter, like, I know she already posted from the banquet, but I'm going to have one that literally says like, my daughter's actually going to be, you know, opening her own office this summer. Like if any of you have kids 17 to 20, you know, 3 looking for meaningful work experience this summer, resume boosters, a chance to develop, you know, and just putting some of these things in there. Like, please let us know. Riley is starting to make selections for assistant managers for summer, as well as right? And just putting it out there. Some of my guys' best PRs and people they built their businesses with, and some of the best people in my office came from parents posting. Anthony Paz worked with me for 6 years, was one of my top Cutco sales professionals that I developed, absolutely killer assistant manager, ran his own office. And Anthony came from his mom seeing someone else post and going, hey, my friend said that their kid's job has openings and you should apply there. And, you know, and she told Paz. And so when I asked Paz, how'd you hear about the job? Oh, my mom saw it on social media, right? And so we want your parents to post, right? Because more of their friends are parents, and they might also have kids or nieces or nephews that also need jobs. And so it's a very positive thing. Any adults you guys know, maybe you're like, for me, my mom's not on social media, right? But my aunt is. And so my aunt would be a good person to post. My grandpa would be a great person to post. He's on social media all the time. He's actually like the first one to respond to most of my posts, you know? And so just knowing like, who do you know? Best friends' parents. So think about that right now. Best friends' parents, maybe some of your customers that love you, your any family members, aunts, uncles, you know, any of your mom's friends that you're close to, like my mom's best friends, I have them post for me. So just like they posted when you started your fast, or I want them to put a post saying that you're opening your business and how proud they are of you and da-da-da. And so I'm going to create some templates that you guys, and you can have them post different things as we're gearing up for the summer, maybe post something each month, and then you guys comment on it so it circulates more, respond to people, even a smiley face, you guys liking each other's posts, you guys commenting on Facebook every time someone comments, or you put a smiley face or whatever, like you don't have to say anything, you put a smiley face on someone's comment, right? Instead of just doing a thumbs up, liking it, like that helps with stuff. But when you actually write a comment, it shows up back in the news feed and everyone sees it. Even if it's from 5 years ago, it'll show back up, okay? So there's algorithms that you guys can support each other when posting, liking or commenting, and commenting is always the best. And again, you don't have to write a sentence. You could comment with a picture. You could comment with a smiley face. You could comment woohoo with a, like, I don't know, Bitmoji or something. I don't know. I don't know all this stuff. I'm old, but anyway, you guys get what I'm saying. So that, like, we want to keep building that. All right. So just being very focused on that. Y'all, you know, tomorrow's the last day of January, right? Happy New Year. It's February already. Like, this shit's gonna fly. Y'all open in April. You have February, March, and then boom, mid-April, offices are opening. Summer starts April 26th. Some of you are still in classes. And so you'll be doing stuff part-time around your classes and working with your district manager until you can go full throttle with your office. But the sooner you can get open and start recruiting, the better that's going to be for you, especially those of you who are really wanting to maximize your territory. So you want to find your 10K fast starter because you want to have someone to point to. You want to have that rabbit. You want to tap into different schools. So social media helps you get into your different high schools. You want to make sure you find a PR rabbit, you know, and someone who's like loves helping build the team and they're kind of leading the charge in that. Getting 10K new before mailers start. Mailers start dropping the second May 15th week. Cool. So mid-May. And so the goal is, can we get one prior to mailers dropping so there's someone to point to, right? We want you guys to have assistant managers. It's way more fun to do it as a group and to have people to do things with. And then, you know, popping fear bubbles for people, all right? And so as far as things to do. So again, and I actually can share, I'll screenshot it and send it out. So if you guys want to go through and read, or actually you should just screenshot right now, but this right here, who's already been, can you guys raise your digital hand? So I know, just I'm going to stay on the screen. Who's already been on Maxpreps and started digging into some of this? Anybody? All right. So I would say today, y'all, can we put 15 minutes towards this just to check it out? I can go on to Maxpreps. So it's just maxpreps.com. That's what you do. And you guys see here, you're going to put the name of your high school. All right. You're going to locate the name of the one in your state school. And so just making sure it's the right one, because sometimes there's like a high school, same name. There's one in Florida, there's one here, you know, so just making sure it's the one here. Or you can put the full name of the school properly. It usually gets you to the right one, but just make sure it's in the right city. And so the school will pop up. You guys can click the school. You see on the right where it says teams, you know, like closer to that first picture, all the way on the bottom of that first picture, it says teams. When you click on teams, it's going to show you all the different types of teams. And so it'll show basketball, football, you know, say varsity, like it'll show you, like you can pick varsity, freshman, or JV. You guys see that on the middle set of pictures to the right. And so you can pick, you know, which one. Obviously, you guys want to pick varsity. And then it shows you basketball, soccer, softball, volleyball. So you can go through each one. And you guys want to do that for 2023, your 2023, like your seniors. But you guys also want to look at the roster for 2022. Please make a note of that, okay? So that you guys can see who's doing what, who's playing, okay? So this will show you, if you guys click the roster to 2023, 2024, that's going to show you this school year, all the seniors, right? So you want to make sure you put the 2023, 2024, but then I would go back one. You can also do 2022, 2023, which is last year, which are current college freshmen that are finishing their freshman year. All right. This is a very, even if this is the only thing you guys do this week, I want everyone to do this and add by next week when we meet together, I want you guys to have followed 25 new people minimum. Cool? 25 new people minimum. And y'all, this will be simple because then once you do that, it'll show you the roster and it'll show you all their names. Cool. And once you have their names, it's easier to find them in like on Instagram. All right. And so we'll show you guys, but first start getting your list together and you guys could put it again, get organized, right? Keep a spreadsheet. And so you're like, okay, Clear Lake High School is on your spread. That's the spreadsheet for Clear Lake High. And so you can put sport, right? Year that they're graduating, which the 2023-24 or 24 graduates, or you might have some 23 graduates, right? So putting the sport, putting the year, and then putting their name. Okay. And so just start collecting the data. So you guys have that. That's what I want you guys to start doing today, this week, is start collecting those. All right. So go through your teams, pick one high school. All right. If you guys do more, good, do more. But your assignment is to pick one high school, find one of your high schools, and on a spreadsheet, go ahead and write down all of the seniors. For the basketball team, for like every sports team that they have in the school, just type them, copy them over into a spreadsheet so that you have those names for at least one school. Cool. Can everyone do that? Like we can't wait any longer. So we want to do that. So pick one school. And then if you want to do more of your schools, go for it. All right. So now you have a list of names, then now we can go research. Okay. On the different social apps. And so you guys see here how he has like the first name, because the next thing is we want to find their IG handles. Okay. So step one is what I just told you guys to do, right? We want to create a list of the seniors from every sports team. Any questions with that? Please unmute and ask me now.
Yes, I had a question. Just you said follow them like on media, or is there a way to follow them on Maxpreps?
No, not Maxpreps. We're going to follow them on Instagram. That's the next step. So step one
Okay.
is what we did before. So step one, how to find your list. Does everyone understand that? Go to Maxpreps, find your high school, and then go to the teams, all right, and click the team and make sure to put it 2023-24 so you know this year's roster, and then look for the seniors. So if you look all the way to the right, Gary Larson, all the way in the bottom, Gary Lawson is a senior, or no, is a sophomore. I'm not going to put that one on my list. Cameron is a junior. I'm not going to put that on my list. Leah is a senior, all right? And then that's the only senior I see just on this little quick snapshot. But you're looking for all of the seniors. Everyone got that? Now, by the way, I don't know. I feel like a shortcut would be just to do 2022, 2023, and then write down all the juniors and seniors, right? And then go to this year and add any new seniors that maybe weren't on last year's junior roster, if that makes sense, right? But step one is we need a list of names so we know who we're looking for. Got it? So basically would be the left column, just first name, right? And I want to have their school. So create a list of all seniors from each high school. Step one. Everyone good there on how to find the people? So you're just getting names. Step two is you're going to look for the high school Instagram page. So guys, let's all just do this together right now. Pick one of your high schools. All right. So just think about your main area and pick a high school that's in your area. So you can pick Pearland High. You can pick Maddie, Friendswood. You can pick Friendswood. Johnny, one of the schools up in your zips. I don't know if you got a chance to look at those, Morgan, whatever, something in Manville, or where you are, but pick a high school right now. So we're just going to do this first step together so that we can then look for, because not every high school has, not every high school has a developed Instagram. Okay. And so some are easier to find than others. Okay. And so, so find a high school and we're going to go to Instagram because there's different ways to be able to look for these. Okay. So like, I'm just going to pick Cy Falls High School. Okay. So I picked, so all I did was I Google, I put Cy Falls High School and Instagram. What we want to do is change it to accounts, and then we're also going to check tags and we're going to check places. Okay. So when I look here, when I clicked it to, to accounts, I have Clear Falls High School cheer. I have Clear Falls High School, like the general. And then there's other stuff, I don't know if they have a fashion, and so these are all great things to follow. There's Clear Falls High School PTSA. And I'm gonna look at this stuff. So I'm gonna click the cheer group. So I can follow the group. All right. If you want to, I would follow the groups from your high schools in the area so you can like things or comment or like see when they recognize somebody. Because your goal over the next 2 months is to start building relationships through social media. Okay. Liking things, celebrating things, happy birthday, whatever. It's like you become their social media friend. And then just make sure, like I'm looking here and it's like, yep, Clear Falls, and actually Clear Falls is down south, right? But I'm looking here and I'm like, all right, Clear Falls, they got a great cheer team. They were national champions, by the way, last year, 2020, they were number 1, 2023, they were number 2 in the nation. So that's cool. So they've got that, so I can follow. But the big thing now is I can look at followers of this page. Once I'm like one of the followers, you can see like the followers of the page. But you can also just like look at a post, and this has like 187 likes. So you could look at comments, but you're kind of just doing a little bit of stalking. But I can look at the likes and see the people that liked it. Because then I can look and say, oh, this looks like a young person, or like if it's a mom, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to add that person. But you can look at accounts to see which ones are public or which ones, like Clear Falls football follows. So I'm like, ooh, that's one I want to follow. I want to follow Clear Falls football. But just picking people that you can follow. This here, I've got, this girl, I don't know, Kenzie. I'm like, she looks like a young student. All right. And so I can see, so she's actually on the cheer team. Many times they show, hers doesn't, but many times they'll have like their, if they're a senior or whatever. There. This is a different way of looking. So let's rewind. Sorry. So you guys have names. So with the names, now we can just look for those accounts. All right. So this is another thing you guys can do on Instagram. I was just showing you guys is like, you can go to places, you can see who follows, you can find other people that, are parts of the school. You guys can go to tags. And so when people tag Clear Falls, high school, I can look here and there's, over 1,000 posts. So I can look at these and I'm like, oh, this looks like someone I want on my team. I can go ahead and follow them and start building a relationship. So she looks like she was, graduating. Any of these types of pictures, right? Boom, those are awesome, right? Those are seniors, or you can look at the year. So this was April 2023. That means that she is currently finishing her freshman year of college. Cool. So she graduated last year. But now I'm like, all right, this is someone I want to follow. So I can go ahead and follow her and just start commenting and stuff, building relationships there. Because then later we're going to start sending messages about work. Right now, we're just going to become friends. You guys should be posting on your social media constantly. If they go look at you or look at your story, they're like, oh, what's that? Right. But we're not actively sending direct messages yet. We're just building relationship and they're seeing what you post. Everyone got that? That's our step 1. So that's why we want a list of people. And I want to make sure you guys can follow at least 25 people by next week. How do I know what people to follow? Go to Maxpreps, look at the sports teams. That's an easy one, right? Another thing, you guys can look at the school website. And I went on the school website. Some school websites show you like who's the officers, right? Who's the valedictorian, salutatorian, like it has a list of officers. So you got to just kind of look to see. They'll have like highlight from the football game, or like they'll have like recognition and stuff, or like, oh, the debate team just won at blank, and they show it on the school website, and you can look to see who are the people there, or who's like the captains or the officers or the directors, on there. So you can just kind of do some digging to see like who are the people you want, right? So you're gonna have dance teams, you're gonna have sports teams, there's National Honor Society. Like I love people who are like high in academia, right? And like are just like very disciplined with their schoolwork. I love athletes and people that work in teams. DECA, if they have a DECA club or anything like that. All right. So anyway, so again, Maxpreps, you can find names there. What do you do with the names? You literally just go in here and look put that person's name and see what pops up when you go into accounts. You're not going to find them all easily, but you will find many of them. And if you follow the school, what's great is the algorithm will connect, right? Like you have 2 mutual friends or you have 1 mutual, you guys know how it shows you that, right? Like if you follow the same people or you follow, so that's why you want to follow the school and all the school groups and stuff, because that way when you friend them, they see that, oh, you're also a Clear Falls follower. So then they're like, oh, we probably know each other through Clear Falls. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. So that's what's happening there. So so I'm not going to keep adding all the other things you guys can do to find people, but you can go just to, like I was saying, like you can just, when you search the school, so I'm like, oh, I want to search Clear Falls High School. I can also go to places. And so when I go to places, I can look to see anyone who's posted while they're at school. So I can click places, Clear Falls High School, and it'll show me people that posted while they were at school, right? And so now I can look through here too, and I'm like, all right, cool. I can just look at people. I have a top athlete, like I have this girl wearing her jersey here, and so I'm just like looking through and you're kind of chirping. I have a senior, someone who graduated, I have a senior picture she posted while she was at school. And so you can find more people from your schools just looking at places, looking at tags, in addition to looking for the names of the actual person's account. Cool. All right. Do you guys feel you have enough to help you follow 25 people in the next week? Doing good? All right. You can follow a crap ton more. But if you guys just do that, you're going to get a lot of people. And so it's just you saying, can you dedicate to build your business every day, 30 minutes, 15 minutes in the morning when you have breakfast, 15 minutes before you go to bed to just like do that. All right. And if you can spend a little longer, this is a good use of social media time for you to be finding more people from your schools, finding more people engaging, building that. Because let me tell you, the ones who do that over the next 2 months, when we start doing direct messaging in April, telling them, hey, I'm opening a business for the summer, I have some opportunities, and you send direct messages, you're going to get a lot more responses, cool, of people that want to know more about it, especially if they've seen you commenting on their stuff, liking their stuff. You guys have become friends on Instagram, like they're a lot more receptive versus just a cold message from someone they've never heard of in their life, right? So instead it's like, oh, that girl Morgan, wait, I've seen her comment on my stuff before, or like whatever, and they're like, oh, cool, yeah, I want to know about it. Like they've seen you before, right? So we want to create that familiarity that's going to help you guys with your business. All right. So I'm not going to go through all of this. We'll go through more stuff next week because there's a lot of stuff you guys can do. I want to start with, step 1, what I just went through, which is let's go into Maxpreps. Let's make a list. And then let's create and put it on a spreadsheet so you guys can have that. And so you guys can locate the high school Instagram page. All right. By just looking them up, or you can find it on their school website, right? And then step 3, just start building up and adding any seniors, anyone you see that are seniors from this year or last year, start putting them on there. Some people like on their profile, it says like class of 24, right? Have you guys seen that before, right? And people have that, so right away. Others, you might have to look a little bit more, to see what year they are or whatever that is, all right? And then recording, last thing is record their Instagram handle once you find them. And if you see their Snapchat, sometimes this is located in their bio, their Snapchat. So if you see their Snapchat, grab that as well. Cool. So that's why you guys see here this page you guys have, and it's like name, IG handle, number of IG followers, Snapchat, their school, because it's going to help you later when you guys, let's say they join the team, right, Maddie? And you're having a PC and like, hey, you have 791 followers, like them being able to send messages and stuff to people that follow them to be able to help them with their team builder. So these are just good things for you guys to know, and to know who are some of the most connected. Like someone like Connor, I'd probably pay him a little cash to do some posts because he has 4,802 followers as long as he's active on it, so that stuff we'll talk about later, but just getting organized, and while you're on their page, getting added any data you can to have it, put it on your sheet. Cool. Organization, that's what we want to do. And then the last thing we'll go through for today is just adding them on here. Okay. We're not messaging people yet. We're going to do that later. But it says, complete your senior max preps and follow all school pages associated. So that's why I was saying, like, the cheer team, the football team, the whatever, like, follow anything that they have. And then, we'll talk about the rest next week. Cool. So step one for today is we are going to find at least one high school. You guys are welcome to do more, but I want to make sure you do at least one. Create your spreadsheet. I want to see everybody's spreadsheet next week. As soon as you create it and you've got people on there, you can share it with me right away so I can see where we're at. I'm going to keep a folder with your guys' spreadsheets in it. But yeah, so one school minimum, follow minimum 25 people, and just start engaging. You're allowed to do more, but that's the minimum by next week so we can get moving. Y'all, there were people at Year and Banquet last week that already had over 1,000 people on their list. We already had 1,000 new people that were following. One had 1,500, one had 2,000. So people have already been working on this since December. And so you want to get on it. What's great is you can do a lot in a little time with social media because there's so much there. If you're like, oh, Friday afternoon, I have some time. Netflix and chill. You're going to watch, we put a movie on and just like follow people and go through stuff like at home. Like be active when you're like vegging out, like whenever you can. Because again, if you're really serious about crushing your business this summer, you guys want to make sure that you prioritize time for it. And it doesn't need to be in the middle of your day, or it can be. There were some classes in school that I was bored out of my freaking mind, but I had to be there. And you can work on stuff for your business during that class. Be productive, cool? Anytime you can be to be building. So we're to the end of the hour. I want to open it up for any questions you guys have with your first assignment on your social media, like on your recruitment side. And then the training is the 14-week series that we have on the training side. You guys have the video to watch by next Monday night, and I'll post a message in the group me later tonight once it's up and active. Cool. So that you guys know, and you're welcome to get as far ahead on those stuff as you want, but we'll be discussing takeaways next week on the first lesson. All right. So questions from you guys on our first recruiting assignment. The last thing I would say with recruiting right now to make sure you guys are building the muscle properly and the discipline is you guys need to all be scheduling a minimum of 5 people a week for interviews. That could be from Google Forms. That could be from calling no-shows. That can be from helping call ASR PRs. That can be from calling PRs that were just never responded. That can be from sitting down with one of your reps in a PC and saying, hey, who are 2 or 3 people that you think would be really good that I should talk to? I'm trying to beat Claudia and book more people than her. And I don't have time to sit and go through like call 200 people, but if you have your top 2 or 3, I'd love to chat with them and meet them, right? But can you guys get into that? It could be people where you guys meet at school. It could be friends of yours from your phone. It doesn't matter, but like, can you schedule 5 people for interviews every week? From helping on campus, passing out cards, like whatever it is, getting into that rhythm. Cool. Cause that's a habit you guys want to develop and be really strong with as you go into the summer. That's something all the district managers, I'm holding them accountable now to create that habit for themselves, like minimum 5. The best managers in the country have a standard for themselves. And when I was a district manager, I will never schedule less than 25 in a week, never, as the district manager. As a new division manager, when I moved here in 2015 and 2016, my number for myself still remained 25. I have to book a minimum of 25 because I need to build my business. And so I personally called and scheduled 25 people, not my receptionist, they also did that, but I made sure that I was involved in that. Because if I was booking 25, I knew I had a chance to launch 2 or 3 great people every week from the 25 that I booked. Because just so you guys know, good numbers is 10-1, meaning you book 10 people, you launch 1. Got it? 10-1. Now when they're direct PRs, sometimes it can be less, like 5, like if you book 5, you might see 1 launch, right? When you're really good, but 10-1 is a very good average. 14 or 16-1 is more normal for a lot of offices. So for me, I know like, okay, this week, Morgan, I want to launch 10 PRs from training. If I want to launch 10 PRs from training as a business owner, how many people do I need to schedule to launch 10? No, 50 is like, can happen, but I'm never going to plan with what could be possible. I could sell 3K on this demo, but I could also not. What do we know? If I want to launch 10 PRs this week, what is my number that I want to schedule for the week?
Yeah, everyone's saying 100.
Yeah, you guys can talk. You're allowed to unmute yourselves.
Yeah, like
All right, yeah.
I thought you were asking Morgan specifically, so I didn't want to.
Yeah.
No. I was just saying in general, how many? So minimum 100. Cool. Minimum 100. Why? 100 is good. 10 to 1 is good. 14 to 16 to 1 is average. So just so y'all know, I plan all my shit on the averages. Now, I always kicked everyone's ass and I was one of the best, but I didn't plan on those numbers. I always plan on the averages. So for me as a business owner, I'm like, I want to launch 10 PRs. That means our goal is to schedule 150 PRs for the week, which is very doable when we're collecting PR names and doing all that. But like in Miami, just so y'all know, to give you perspective, our weekly number non-summer was 150. And that's what we need to get back to in our office now. But that was my weekly number. Non-summer was 150 PRs booked for the week in our office. And in the summer, it grew to 200, 250. And during peak time, mid-May to end of June, our goal was to book a minimum of 300, but our goal was 400 or more a week. And I could show you guys my old reports. We booked 413, 398, 370 something, But like, that was my goal. I'm like, I want to book 400 PRs. Why? Because I was going after big numbers and we did them. We broke a lot of records. We won 9 national championships, right? But like, we had a big number and we had it broken down per day. Sunday, our mission was 100, because we used to do a lot on Sundays, now it might be on Monday. And it was like Monday, we wanted to book a minimum of 75. Tuesday, it was 50. Wednesday, it was 75. And that right there gave us 300, and then everything else was bonus. And we broke it down per person, what everyone had to do and how many callers I need. And this is a lot more advanced. And you guys are going to have things set up a little different way. And it's going to be a combination of our overseas team, which I highly recommend utilizing. They'll do a lot of basic heavy lifting, but then you guys need to make sure you're scheduling your PRs every week. And so in the summer, the goal is that you guys are booking 20 or more every week, so as assistant managers, that's why I want to make sure you're building that muscle now of scheduling your 5 a week minimum, because you're going to be booking more this summer. And you might say, oh, in the summer I have more time. No, you don't. You're different busy. You might not have school or class or homework, or you're different busy. You're running a business. You're not just an AM showing up to do a shift. You're managing all the things. You're spinning multiple plates. And we want to make sure that you guys are prepared for that. Okay. So you guys feel good about today and our assignments going into this next week? Awesome.